Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. Cause the love you give, it can't be replaced. So no one else knows what to do. That's why I'm mine. Spend my life with you. I wanna please you any way I can. I wanna share my world. Don't you understand? Your love is a one in a million. It goes on and on and on. You give all day long. Your love is a one in a million. It goes on and on and on. You give me a really good feeling all day long.
Big bag, big bag, big bag, big bag. Yeah, my bag is loaded up with snacks and different foods. Squeeze into this tiny shirt, my big bag has no room. Big bag, big bag, big bag, big bag. All right, so we are getting into some cheesesteak egg rolls, and I got me some sauce that I made. I already had fed my brother and did his hair. And so now we're about to get into a mukbang and conversation for myself. I've been awake for over 24 hours. So a bitch is tired. TYEDD. Tired as hell, bitch. Bitch is tired. So anyway, let's get into this mukbang, which is about a man that was married. That, you know how some older people, that they say he had the hots for me. Girl, listen, let's get into this story time. But before we get into the story time, did you like the hairstyle? I didn't think it was gonna turn out as good as it did, but it did, because a bitch be knowing what he be doing, and that's on Mary Having a Little Lamb and the Three Little Foxes. But I was thinking about doing a lock tour. Yeah. But anyway, let's get into this story time, I guess you can say, about this man while I eat my food. And that's on Mary Having a Little Lamb and the Three Little Wolves. So, I fasted yesterday. So, at this particular time in my life, me and my fiance at the time, we were moving. And my fiance was working at FedEx. And so his coworker was helping us move. So for some reason, we had to stay at the coworker's house. Like, we was moving our stuff into our new place. It was a trailer park. I want to say it was something in the piping or something like that. Or it might have been the lights or something like that. Lights weren't on or something like that. So we stayed maybe there like a day or two. And so nothing went on. We just stayed there. It was very cool. I didn't know his coworker, but he knew his coworker. He like had conversation with him and things like that. And so then we moved into our place. And as we moved into our place, well, when we were moving into our place and the friend was helping us, he didn't have much conversation with me. He seemed kind of like distant. Like, he had little conversation with me to kind of see, you know, I guess just see who, you know, kind of who I was and stuff like that. Kind of like, you know, just like, hey, how you doing? You know, kind of trying to see who I was. And I didn't know him either, so it's kind of like, oh yeah, like, yeah, thanks for helping us. So, after that, and we would stay with him. His kids was out and stuff like that. It wasn't much sleep because his kids was out. So after that, there was this day where my fiance at the time was like, he wanted to hang out. The guy that helped us move, which was his coworker. And I was like, alright. So, and at that time, I had an accident in my vehicle, so I didn't have a vehicle. So, me and my fiance was riding in his truck. So, it was kind of like, child, that was my way to like have like, I get not like freedom, but like to get out, to like have not be stuck in the house after, you know, without a vehicle. Anyway, we went over his friend's house, and at that time I used to smoke a lot of weed. And so my fiance at the time was a weed smoker. So we went on his can you call it a patio? Or like his the back door where the outside is. Anyway, his deck. We were smoking on the deck outside in the back. And so his kids hadn't got the friend. He had kids. He had a boy and a girl, and they hadn't got out of school yet. And so when we were just smoking and talking, and it was just a very kind of like normal conversation. But for me, I was thinking, my fiance is, of course, with me, a man, his friend, the guy who we were at his house, he was a straight male. So, at least I thought. Anyway, we was at his house, and then his kids got out of school. So
after that, and he stayed in an apartment complex. So I'm one of those people that when kids are around and there is a masculine energy, like a dad or a masculine energy, I don't know, like my maternal, I try to say, like, I try to not say that I don't know, like my maternal energy started to kick in. So I'm just like, my maternal energy was like just on. So when kid got out of school, I was like, does he have homework? Has he eaten? I started thinking like that. So the kid wanted food. And so So his son got out of school, and his son wanted something like a snack out of the cupboard. And so he asked me, in which my ex's friends always kind of like referred me as like my ex, like my fiance at that time. Like they always refer me as like his wife. And so it just became something normal. Like it wasn't a diss. It wasn't something that I seen as negative. But he was basically like, do your wifey thing. Like he was like, there's something in the cupboard. Can you get it for him? And kind of like take care of his son. And that was already like my nature of being. So I went to the cupboard and I was looking for what he was asking for. But the way he asked me to go get it was kind of weird, because he said, he was like, do your wifey thing, he was like, go to the cupboard and like, it's something in there, like, go look for it. He's like, it's to the back. So, just, you may have to like bend over to go look for it. And when he said that, I was kind of like, okay. So I'm bending over to look for it, but then I couldn't find it. So he was just like, he was getting ready to come in. So instead of like bending over like that, I decided to squat, like to squat, like, how people squat or Chinese squat, like the squat down, so my ass wouldn't be like just bent, so I wouldn't be bent over like I'm trying to take some dangling, so like take some dangling in my booty cat, in my pussy cat. I didn't want it to be like that, so because my man's there, I'm trying to be like respectful of my man. And when he's helping me look for it, he's like, how those videos of like women shooting guns, and how men have their like hands wrapped around their partner and helping them shoot the gun? He was like that close to me. Like, even though he was like to the side of me, he was just really close.
Feeling so hot tamale. Boy, I know you're watching me, so what's it gonna be? Yeah.
And so that was like the first time where I was like, okay, this man is really close. Even though he's saying that, even though he has a child and he has a wife or a girlfriend that he is, intending on marrying, he's just really close. It's just closer than normal for a straight guy. You know what I'm saying? So I sent the text to my fiance at the time, and I was just like, "Did you see that?" Because the way that he was like really close up to me, and it's kind of like he whispered in my ear, like just like saying, he started like saying like questionable things, like the way that he would say things, and in the closeness that he was, it just was weird. It was awkward for a straight man, and it had to be awkward for me if it had to be awkward if I'm a gay man and I'm noticing that this is not straight man behavior. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, at that point, I'm like, I'm texting my fiance at that time, and I'm telling him like, you know, like, did you see that? Is that weird to you? I text him that. I had smoked some weed, but I wasn't that high. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I also should mention that this is more my fiance's friend than he was my friend, because this is like my first time being around him more than like just like an hour or so. Because of course he helped us move into our new place, but this is like my first time like being around him like more than just like a hey and bye type of interaction. Because when he moved us into our place, it was just kind of like, thank you for helping us move, like bye bitch. It wasn't like a interaction that was like like more than necessary. So this time it was like I was actually understanding who he was and getting to know him. And I was enjoying him, but at the same time it was kind of questionable. His sexuality started to become questionable. Even though we had stayed with him like one morning while I had to work, it just started after like I was around him for a while, it started to become questionable. And so I'm aware that he has a girlfriend or a wife or whatever he wanted to call her. I was aware of that. So I didn't think anything about it being more than just friendship. Anyway, child, when his child got there, it just started to he already had like smoked, and I think we had some drinks, so it was like Parmesan and another, I think, Hennessy. Parmesan and Hennessy. And so he had been drinking, and so sometimes when people have alcohol, their true self come out. And his kid was there, but again, although I have been drinking now, I'm one of those people that when a child is around, my maternal energy kicks in. And I'm just very aware of the child's needs. And so he had to get ready to cook. And I'm also one of those people that I try not to come to a gathering without adding to the gathering in a way. So he said that he was cooking fish. So I actually brought some more fish. And since this is my first time over there, I wanted to make sure that we had enough, even from when his girlfriend or wife came. Okay. I gotta tell y'all too, like, some of these egg rolls are double wrapped because I had nails on while I was trying to wrap them. So while I was cleaning the fish in the sink and seasoning the fish in the sink, you know, he was telling me that he was a chef for a company, like that was just a part of his background. And I was telling him that, you know, I just enjoy cooking. And of course, my fiance was telling him that, you know, like, he was like, Kevin can cook. Like, he enjoys cooking and stuff like that. But he started becoming, like, really close. Like, just being really close. And it wasn't like a friend close. It was more like a partner type of close. Like, he just was like, you know, just like up on me. Like, even though he was like to the side of me, like, you know, saying stuff like in my ear, it was kind of like, it was like what I would expect from my fiance. And so the only reason that it was kind of uncomfortable, I guess, is because my fiance was there. And I mean, even if my fiance wasn't there, it would have still been uncomfortable because it's kind of like I was in a relationship. So I kind of waited till I was kind of like waiting for my fiance to kind of like say something because it was his friend, it wasn't my friend. But at the same time, I'm one of those people in a relationship that if something needs to be said, I will say it. But I didn't want to step over. I didn't want to like cross boundaries with my fiance's friend because that was his friend. But if something needs to be said, like, I am that person that I will say something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will say something like, get your friend. Why your friend so close? You saying that you a straight man? Back up. I will say it if I will say I'm that friend. I will say that. I will say it. But at the same time, I was just like, I was kind of assessing it I was kind of assessing the situation in my mind. Like, that man's drunk. We done smoked some. We done smoked some Mary Jane. We done been drinking. Maybe he's just friendly. Maybe he's just like one of them friendly drunks. Everybody kind of like most people are like them friendly drunks. And you got some people like angry drunks. I'm just like, maybe he's just a friendly drunk. Child. So after I was like done frying the fish and stuff like that, his wife, his wife ended up coming. I think like in the middle of the fish being fried, and at that point, I'm just like, okay, thank you, because the bitch is here. Like, not like angry like the bitch. Like, I'm just like the wife is here. Like, I can just sit back and let her take over. This her kitchen, this her house, and she done got off of work. So, but at the same time, I'm just like, well, maybe she want to rest. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she don't want to like cook and stuff like that. So I'm also thinking about her. Like, I'm just a very thoughtful person. I was thinking about her. So anyway, my ex-fiance and his friend, they was talking, and the friend was telling me, we'll call the friend, what is this? We'll call his friend Suey or something. Yeah, Suey. His friend is gonna be Suey. So Suey and my fiance at the time, Suey was like, my wife here, y'all can have like girl talk and stuff like that. So I'm trying to have a conversation with her, but at the same time, she just seemed like, I done got off work. She not really wanting to talk much because she barely knows me. And it was kind of like the way he told me to like, have conversation with her. It's kind of like he just pushed me off onto like having conversation with her. Like, oh, this is my wife. Like, y'all should have a conversation. Like, y'all gonna be real cool. I'm just like, I don't even know this woman. I barely know you. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So anyway, she, a stranger in her kitchen. And, I'm telling her that. I'm just like, I know you don't know me, but I'm in your kitchen. I don't mean to take over. Do you want to? And she's just like, no, you're fine. And stuff like that. She is so cool and, calm and stuff like that. And, of course, it wasn't but so much that had to be done after, like, she came. Like, the food was almost done. So, and then he was just like, his wife went into the bedroom, and stuff like that. He wasn't like giving her time to like get settled. He was just like, go talk to my wife, like get to know her and stuff like that. I'm just like, damn, like she's just getting in. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna like give her some time. Like she just getting in. Like I know how that is. Cause I work, so I know how that is. I was like, she's a mother and stuff like that. She wants some time to like at least calm down and stuff like that. Like to have some time to herself, just a little bit. So, but when I was trying to have a conversation with her, she was just really short, kind of with her answers because she didn't really know me. And I didn't really know her. Like, bitch, what we got to talk about? Bitch, I barely know you. You barely know me. Anyway, it seemed like the conversation would have been forced. Like, it would have been forced conversation. So, and him and my fiance was talking. I'm just like, damn, I wonder what they're talking about. But me and the girlfriend or the wife, she seemed kind of more like headed to her kids too, which most mothers are, because they had kind of had a the child had, it had like a bath or whatever, and I didn't help with the child's bath. At the same time, I was concerned about the child's bath. But okay, so there was a boy and a girl. There wasn't just a boy. There was a son and a daughter. And so it's also like when the wife got there, he started cranking up his masculinity, like trying to really be a man, like telling his son, like, you better get into bed and stuff like that. It was just like it was just a shift in energy. I was just like, I was just experiencing what he was doing. I was just like, what the fuck? You weren't acting like that before your wife got here. What the fuck going on? So I just noticed that his energy kind of shifted once his wife got there. But he was still kind of like, having conversation, but he was just kind of it seemed like his energy was like just very open and very inviting. But it was more inviting than usual for a straight man. But at the same time, it didn't seem like he was like, it was like inviting, but more of like a friendship inviting. Like, yeah, like, this is my wife. Like, this is our life, and this is what we got going on. It seemed like that type of inviting, not like a, this is my wife. We like to have threesomes and stuff like that. It wasn't seeming like that. So, anyway, his temperament, I guess, his energy kind of shifted when his wife got there, which anyone when their partner gets there, it's going to shift a little bit. But just the way that he treated the kids and stuff, it kind of shifted a little bit. Like his attention to his kids kind of shifted and stuff like that. But not so much that it was kind of like, not so much that it was awkward. It wasn't like awkward. It was just kind of like, he just wanted to show that his dominance, so he wanted to show that he was the man of the household, I guess you can say. Yeah. He kind of wanted to show that he was the man of the household. So anyway, we're sitting at the table and stuff like that, and I'm texting my fiance, and my fiance texting me, and I'm just like, you seen that? Like, you okay? Like, you not mad at me, is you? Because that's your friend. I was like, he's straight, right? Like, I don't even think I questioned his sexuality because he had a wife. So I didn't question his sexuality because of that. But anyway, the wife wasn't really having too much conversation. She was just kind of there. So anyway, we had already been eating kind of after the food had been cooked, and the wife had just came there. So she bathed and came out, and I was just like, I'm just my husband, like, okay, well, it's time for us to get ready to go too. So we got ready to go, and I enjoyed myself. It wasn't so awkward that the experience was ruined. It was just kind of like, oh, like his friend was just very friendly. It just seemed more friendly than normal for a straight guy. So I'm just like, he kind of was like pressed up against me, like when he would have conversations, like pressed up, like bro, like kind of. It just imagine like this being my body for just a second, and just him being like, yeah, like it's just kind of like he was pressed up against me to have conversation. I'm just like, we don't have to be that close for you to explain what you're explaining. He just seemed very open for a straight guy. So anyway, after that experience and him telling me and my ex-fiance at the time that he did snow and stuff like that. So I'm just like, okay. But anyway, afterward, it was like a couple days after that experience, my fiance said, guess what? And I was like, what? And he called me, and I forgot what I was doing, but he called me. He's just like, I got something to tell you. And I'm just like, okay. He was just like, no, first he said, Suey wanted to Suey had something to tell him. And what he told him was his wife, he was just like, I don't his wife was saying something like she didn't want us back over there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why was she so fake while we were over there? Like, why couldn't she tell us what she had to tell us while we was over there? Why couldn't she say that while we was over there? So my fiance at the time made it seem like it was because of me. So he was just like, yeah, she said something. It was like something about you or something like that. I'm like, what? Like I was like, oh my goodness, like, why didn't she say what she had to say while I was over there? I wouldn't have reacted in any type of negative way. And so he was just like, I'm gonna call you back when I get more information, because his friend wanted to have a one-on-one conversation with him. So he was like, I'll call you after the conversation. So when he called me, he said, guess what? I was like, what? He was like, the reason that she didn't really want you to come over is because Suey said that he wanted to be with you. And I said, what? He was like, yeah. Suey said that his attraction for you was getting in the way of their marriage. What? So at that point, I'm like, wait a minute. He telling his wife that basically what was going on was the wife didn't like me because she realized that her husband had an attraction to me. And there was a disagreement between them, and he openly said that he had an attraction for me. And so after that, I then told my fiance at that time, I said, well, honestly, you can't honestly be mad at him, because he was honest with you as a friend and telling you that he felt that way. Child, when he told me that, I was just kind of like, I was just surprised, honestly, because I'm like, what? I was like, why didn't this come up when we were over there? But he said that his friend and his wife had just like a deep conversation. And I asked my fiance, I said, so you didn't know that he was bisexual? And he was like, no. He was like, he just told me like that he found you attractive. Like he wanna fuck you. And I'm like, what? Like he said it like that, and he was just like, yeah. He said he wanted to fuck you. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, motherfucker. What? But yeah. He said he wanna fuck you. There was a significant part of that conversation that I didn't speak about, but my fiance was like, yeah, you can't go back over there. And that's when I was like, why? And he was like, you, Suey and his wife had a conversation, and he told his wife that he liked you more than a friend, basically. That he wanted to you. And it was the reason that it was kind of just like it kind of was like what is because he was talking about prior to that conversation, he was just like, yeah, you can come over and babysit our kids. And he's making all of these, these decisions for him and his wife, but his wife wasn't really agreeing upon these things. And his wife wasn't agreeing upon these things because they had problems in the past around him liking the same sex. And I was just like, oh, I don't got no. What they got to do with me? But at the same time, I realized like, wow, like I don't want to be the reason that they, that they have problems in their relationship. But I told my fiance at the time, just like, you can't be mad at him. You gotta kind of like respect him for being able to tell you that. Because a lot of friends, they wouldn't tell you. They would just feel that way and still be around you. And that's kind of fake. And I said he was strong enough to say, like, this is the way I feel about your partner. And I think that it's best that I'm not around your partner knowing that I have feelings for your partner. And I said, that's real. Because a lot of people wouldn't even be that open with you. But him and my fiance at some point had a disagreement. Prior to that, Suey and I weren't on. We weren't Facebook friends, but after the conversation, then we were friends. He wanted to be friends on Facebook. So I was like, what the hell going on? But yeah. But the crazy part is, after my fiance and him had a disagreement, he was in my inbox afterward. I said, this nigga ain't shit. And the thing about it is, he was from up north. He was a dark Dominican. I said, this nigga ain't shit. He was in my inbox like after they had a disagreement, but I didn't know they had a disagreement. And so I'm messaging him back like, like, what's up? Like, what's good? Like, it's just as a friend. But then my fiance was just like, yeah, me and him, we ain't cool. We fell out, and I was just like, so I was just like, oh. So I said, this makes sense why he messaged me out the blue and wanted to be my friend. He was just like, yeah, we ain't cool. We ain't fucking with each other now. I was like, damn. We had a good friend. Now I gotta block his ass. Cause I gotta block the dude cause he ain't cool. My man ain't cool with him. So I'm just like, I gotta block him too. And so, yeah. But after me and him separated and we're no longer together, then I unblocked him. But it was just like, damn. And guess what happened? But y'all, I was like, how this man was straight. I was like, how this man straight with a baby mom, a wife, kids, and talking about he wanna be with me. And yeah, I was really thinking, that nigga bold as hell. Especially telling my nigga that he felt that way about me. And telling his wife that. Nigga, what? And you got kids? What the fuck? Anyways, y'all. Yeah. He told his wife, the mother of his kids, and my fiance that he wanted to be with me. And it was best that him and my fiance weren't friends because he couldn't control himself around me. To explain it in a short story. Yeah. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story. I enjoyed eating my cheesesteak egg rolls for you guys with my fries, and I hope that you enjoyed it also. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you haven't already, if you would like to like the video. Comment if you like to comment. And with that being said, I enjoyed telling the story. Anyway, toodaloo. I love you.